Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Professor Godfred Bokwin. He is economist and professor of finance at the University of Ghana, a senior fellow at IMANI. Please a round of applause for him, please.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank IMANI for giving me this opportunity to deliver the opening remarks. Indeed, the subject of discussion this morning is as timely as it was in 2014, when Ghana was considering a program with the International Monetary Fund. Of course, that consideration is very much relevant even now, as it was. And it wouldn't be out of proportion if the possibility of going for an IMF-supported program is on the table right now, especially if we master the courage to swallow our political pride. In all that discussion, as it is today, fiscal policy is the chief culprit. I'm not suggesting we should arrest it or ask the police to go after it, but perhaps there should be a way out. Fiscal policy refers to the use of taxation and spending to influence the conditions of the economy, either by preventing economic recession or promoting a just, equal, healthy, and steady growth by the government. By far, it is the most dominant policy tool available to any country. Ladies and gentlemen, fiscal policy is either expansionary or contractionary, but not recklessness, as we are about to be treated with. It is expansionary when the government lowers taxes and increases government spending to stimulate economic growth. It is contractionary when the government reduces spending on projects or reduces the wage bill or the size of the public sector workforce, a combination of that. It is recklessness when we gather Tuesday morning like this and the subject matter is billions of lost monies to the state. The state of Ghana's fiscal recklessness reflects our culturally receptive and accommodative attitude to corruption. Because as Schumpeter once said a century ago, a nation's fiscal policy reflects the spirit of the people, its cultural level, its social structure, the deeds its policy may prefer, etc. So it is not a good thing to say it is them and us. We are all in this. Fiscal policy historically had assumed a laissez-faire approach until the stock market crash and the Great Depression of the 1930s, where policymakers pushed greater and more proactive role for the government in the economy. Again, the dominant role of fiscal policy was manifested during the recent global economic crisis of 2008-2009, when government stepped in to support the financial system, jumpstart growth, and mitigate the impact of crisis on vulnerable groups. And this I sourced from the IMF. But more recently, we have seen the power wielded by fiscal policy during the pandemic, where fiscal policy responded strongly. And of course, this manifested explicitly in debt formation, which rose by more than 28 percentage points in 2020 to 256% of global GDP by the end of 2021, according to the IMF. In Ghana, we have seen the public debt rose to an unsustainable and unprecedented level. This signals uncertainty to the business community and households with fears of higher taxes, as we have seen even with the introduction of e-levy and perhaps more to come. As the recently announced fiscal measures, including the passage of e-levy, do not offer a clear fiscal sustainability path and assurance to stakeholders, even with the increase in the policy rate to contain the threat of inflation, resulting in higher interest rates. But I must say that the state must not become an armed robber in its quest to raise more revenue. Even with that, we see that the three variables fundamental to steering debt sustainability, including interest rate, primary budget balance, and real GDP growth, we see that the first two are in an unfavorable position with respect to Ghana. There is an urgent need to rethink Ghana's fiscal policy. And I believe by the time we go into the details of the fiscal recklessness index, we will understand why this needed to be done like yesterday. And to do so, this must be anchored on a fiscal regime backed by an effective asset declaration with an ownership beneficiary registry that can be accessed upon request. Let me say that at this current rate of fiscal recklessness, generating more money is not our solution. It can only lead to more abuse. A broader conversation of striking a delicate balance between sustainable development whilst maintaining debt sustainability is something Ghana needs to consider seriously. We owe ourselves and the future generation the responsibility of devising a fiscally responsible policy leading to improved fiscal policy and debt management frameworks that create a just and equal society safe for everyone. Of course, any country that is corrupt is also inefficient at mobilizing resources for development. That's at one level. That same country, even with the little that is collected, is also not prudent at utilizing it. And Ghana fits that bill. I'll end here, and as we go into the details of the report, thank you.